Hello, welcome back to Astro Heaven. You're speaking with Mary Elizabeth Lovelace, the creator behind this powerful fashion, astrology, and beauty brand. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Midheaven Effect and how other celebrities and creators have used their midheavens to scale and brand themselves and attract fame, success, sales, etc. So if those are things that you're interested in, definitely keep listening. Now, I can't cover all of the midheavens in one video, so I'm just going to be singling out single celebrities that I have noticed patterns with. However, if you're interested in learning about all of the midheavens and how to use your specific midheaven to scale and market yourself and brand yourself and build your business and public image and persona, the Midheaven Master Book and the Midheaven Sales Strategy are available on my website if you are interested. Only if you are interested. All right, let's get into it. Starting off with Addison Rae. I love Addison Rae. I honestly loved her before she blew up. Not to be that girl, but yes, I was always an Addison Rae stan, even in her TikTok era. Like, I was obsessed with her. But something happened and shifted when she dropped her album. Also, specifically when she dropped her song, Diet Pepsi. It just blew up overnight and nobody knew why. Nobody knew where this rebrand was coming from or how she went viral and blew up as an artist. And I'm going to do a mini deep dive into why. For starters, Addison Rae is a Pisces midheaven. Pisces midheavens thrive when they sell the planet that they are ruled by, which is Neptune. Neptune rules over drugs, fantasies, illusions, nostalgia, and etc. Neptune actually traditionally rules the 12th house, which is Pisces. Yes, Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, but it is also ruled by Neptune, which is the planet of illusions, deceptions, drugs, fantasy, escape, just overall seduction. And the 12th house is the house of isolation, solitude, dreams, illusions, again, drugs, escapism. And when you have a Pisces midheaven, this is sort of the energy that you have to sell and market to the world if you are a brand, if you are a creator or an artist. I honestly can't remember when she blew up, but I think it was circa 2020 when she started going viral on TikTok. And then it's like people... Because here's the thing. Something that is inevitable, no matter what your branding is hard work, right? And execution. If you do the work, if you do the execution, and if you do have the talent and the creativity, yes, you will get attention. Yes, you will get sales. Yes, you can build, a legit business. But if you want to reach the midheaven, the highest point, the literal highest point, the 10th house in your chart in astrology, it takes a little bit of extra. It takes a little kick. It takes the next level. It takes using the energy that you were born with in order to scale. Picture it like this. Yes, you're a startup. Yes, you're good. You're a mom and pop shop. But the 10th house is company level. It's I was going to say world domination, but that's actually the 11th house, LOL. But yes, your 10th house is your highest point. It is the business house. It is literally the thing that works for you. And so circling back to Addison Rae, before she really branded herself, she was sort of scattered. She was all over the place, and it kind of left her audience and her followers confused because yes, she was putting in the work. Yes, she was doing the thing. Yes, her content was being pushed out. Because of the inevitability, hard work does equal success, in a capitalistic sense, which is Saturnian in nature, Capricorn. However, if you don't contain it, again, if you don't really structure it, if you don't use the energy that you were born with, it sort of goes nowhere. And it's sort of like a machine instead of like a company, instead of like a brand that people can escape into or consume. And so I don't know her personally, but I'm assuming she sort of sensed this and she went ghost for an entire year, of course, and then she comes back and she drops Diet Pepsi. Not only was the song very Pisces and Neptunian, but the music video was very Pisces and Neptunian. Let's start with the concept of Diet Pepsi. When it first came out, a lot of people were comparing it to Lana Del Rey and how Lana Del Rey sort of positioned herself when she first hit the music industry or blew up circa 2014, which is actually very on brand for Addison because the Pisces midheaven banks on nostalgia. Again, Neptune rules over fantasy, nostalgia, illusion, reminiscing on the past, and things like that. It's very watery, it's very moody. And so already Addison sort of tapped into this nostalgia of 2014 Tumblr. In her music video, it was very 2014 Tumblr, very aesthetic 2016 Tumblr era. And she sort of tapped into, what people were sort of missing at the moment in pop culture, something that takes them back. And she tapped into that using her midheaven, unconsciously or consciously. It's what happened. And then the music video was also very 12th house in nature. The 12th house rules over isolation, fantasies, secrets, deception, and illusions, and dark seduction, and also euphoric raving and suffering to some extent. In the music video, she was in the back seat of a car in a secret relationship, right? And she was selling like this fantasy of being a secret, of escaping into this dark fantasy world with some guy that you're in love with, but you can't share that love and romance to the public. That's very 12th house in nature. The lyrics in the backseat, I'm your baby, so sweet, it's just very secretive, very moody, very Pisces, very emotional, and it pulls you in. And even the song, she uses like the way that she sounds, like her music is very heavenly, it's very otherworldly. I forget the correct term for it, but it's just very heavenly vocals. Otherworldly vocals. It takes you somewhere else, It's not like a normal song. It sort of raises your mood and the frequency, But anyways, when she tapped into the sort of Pisces midheaven branding and marketing, she really scaled and she really went even more viral than what she already was. Pisces also rules the ocean and fish and anything aquatic, especially the 12th house in general. If we want to talk about levels of porosity or whatever it's called, Cancer would be like surface level water, Scorpio is probably like a lake or, a pool, but Pisces is the actual ocean. It's deep, dark waters. And so when she fully embraced this whole ocean aquatic type of theme and branding, she really blew up. And you can see this when she dropped her music video, Aquamarine, literally Aquamarine. And she posted fish imagery, sailing imagery. It's just all Pisces branding. Even the color aquamarine blue that she consistently wears. I don't know if she contacted an astrologer or a psychic or whatever, but she's very on brand, and it's a very good example of a creator and an artist who uses spirituality and astrology to really scale and brand themselves. And I don't say this to say you should copy her, but I say this to use it as inspiration and to inspire you to do it your own way, or at least brand your business in the way of Pisces if that is your midheaven, because it is inevitable once it works. Another celebrity that I want to talk about is actually Kim Kardashian. She's an even better example because she learned how to separate and disconnect her business from her identity. A common theme with Virgo midheavens is the paradox of the personal identity versus who you show to the world, which is Virgo. But it's actually, you have a Pisces IC. The IC is your roots and where you came from. It's not who you are, but it's the building blocks of who you are and what makes you you. It's your starting ground. It's your literal level 1. So Kim has a Virgo midheaven, but she has a Pisces IC. And so this means that the way to her success was very Pisces. It was very messy. It was all over the place. It was throwing stuff to a wall and seeing what sticks. And with her, you can sort of see this, it was her, let me see, how can I say this? Her roots were very messy. How she got to fame was very messy, watery, very random, very emotional. You can see this with everything she's done to get to her level of success. However, once she came out with her brand Skims, everything changed, and it became one of the most popular brands ever. And I think it's important to note that not everyone can build a successful business and make it popular. Even if you're rich, even if you have all the money in the world, if you don't have the proper structure spiritually and astrologically, if it doesn't make sense and if it doesn't align to your birth chart, you won't scale it. And I mean, we see this all the time with people who have startups, people who invest into their companies, creators who try to be creators and fail inevitably. And it's probably because they're out of alignment. So yeah, you can have all the money in the world, all the investments in the world, the greatest setup ever, but if you don't align to your midheaven, and if you don't know how to structure your creativity, you won't be that successful. Not at the level that you deserve to be or at the level that you should be. Her sister Kylie, she used her Libra midheaven for her makeup brand, and she's another example of someone who disconnected her identity from her business. But going back to Kim Kardashian, she's a Virgo midheaven. If you look at the branding of Skims, it is very Virgo in essence. And even her image now, her public image is very Virgo in essence, serving humanity, becoming a lawyer, being a great mother, being very holistic, being very practical, tangible, trying to get away from that messy sort of socialite vibe that she had in the beginning, her Pisces IC. It's very Virgo in essence. It's her Virgo midheaven. If you look at the Skims branding, the neutrals, the monotone, even her voice now is sort of monotone and controlled and structured. And it's not as, how it was before. It's her midheaven's branding. Virgo midheavens are very service-oriented and service-based. In essence, you have to be helping someone. It thrives on practicality as well. And you can see that with her becoming a lawyer, really talking about how she built her success in her business through manifestation. She's starting to serve humanity more. She's tapping into that earthiness, that earth energy, despite being a Libra. All right, and finally, the last midheaven I will be talking about is the Aries midheaven. So I want to talk about this with Angelina Jolie. So first of all, she's completely on brand. When you think of Angelina Jolie, you just think of a hot person. And that's exactly what Aries midheavens are supposed to be doing anyway. Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, which rules over anger, aggression, sex, sexuality, hunger, fuel, motivation. If you're an Aries midheaven, your brand must be radiating this, or else you won't scale at the level that you deserve. But anyways, in an artistic sense and a creator sense, Angelina Jolie is always playing in either one, an action film, or two, a character that embodies Mars. I think in Maleficent she was a villain. In Girl Interrupted, she was the chaotic, sort of aggressive character, which is Aries midheaven energy. But in a positive, more business or marketing sense, this looks like selling the frequency of confidence, of building yourself up, of motivation, those motivational speakers, those motivational influencers. If you're a business, I would brand your business in Aries colors, harnessing the energy of Aries and finding where Mars is in your chart and using that for your business as well to market your products or even market yourself. Aries midheavens can really become sex symbols or people that others worship for just being hot, because that's what Mars energy is. Mars energy is very masculine and male in nature. It rules, I can't remember what it rules over, but I know it has something to do with masculinity. So Aries midheavens can really thrive with selling aggressively or marketing themselves aggressively, or just using that Mars energy to fuel their businesses or their creative projects or their public image, and etc. Very similar to the Scorpio midheaven, except the Scorpio midheaven isn't as aggressive or isn't as fiery as the Aries midheaven. Scorpio rules the 8th house, so Scorpio midheavens can really thrive on the idea of luxury, of secrecy, think of those streetwear brands. Those streetwear brands or those resellers that have exclusive pieces, high fashion. The idea of having archive pieces, of having exclusive drops, of not being for everyone, very secretive, very luxurious. That is the Scorpio midheaven energy. I'd even argue that Pisces midheavens could experiment with this concept also, because the 12th house is secrets. So perhaps you could thrive in the whole luxurious secrecy thing. All right, that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you really like this video and if you're interested in learning more about your midheaven and learning how to brand, market yourself, scale your business, or even develop your public image and persona as a creative or an artist, definitely check out the Midheaven Masterbook, where I go over all 12 of the midheavens in depth and how to market yourself and brand yourself and build your business and etc. Check out the Midheaven sales strategy as well, and overall just check it out if you are interested in those things and if you want to scale and brand yourself. If you want to know more about my story and how I use my midheaven, check out my latest YouTube video as well, because I go into depth on how I used it, and I just go over my story and my strategy. And don't forget to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, subscribe to me on here. Thank you so much again. I love you deeply, and I'll see you next time.